You got Volkswagen, Stellantis cutting their profit outlook. Stellantis shares hitting their lowest level since October 2022. Oliver Crook is tracking this story. Ollie, good to see you this morning. I mean, you just think of some of the Stellantis brands here, Ram, Dodge, Jeep. This is about a company going from cash generation to cash negative. What is the headwind?
Ram is going bankrupt, so now they are giving away cars for extremely cheap. But before you go rushing to the dealerships, you need to understand why this is happening. How is it going to affect you and the industry in general? See, Ram is a big company, and already workers under the union are sounding the alarm. So what does that mean for us consumers? What's going to happen to the thousands of workers? What is exactly happening in the automotive world right now? It's an absolute disaster, and that's not just hearsay. It's a bold assertion from Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, the parent company of Ram. He paints a dramatic picture of an industry plunging into chaos, where every brand is teetering on the edge, desperately avoiding failure. But Tavares flips the narrative, boasting about Stellantis' superb performance as if they are immune to the turmoil. It feels almost surreal, like a scene from a movie. He is saying that they are doing great compared to the challenges. Now, enter Shawn Fain, the passionate president of the union, who steps into this fraught discussion. He is not buying Tavares' tales, not for a moment. It's as if he's wielding a knife to cut through the drama, exposing what he sees as disgraceful. Fain is clear and relentless, asserting that if any worker showed the same incompetence he attributes to Tavares, they'd be out the door in a quick flash. Ironically, countless workers are facing layoffs under Tavares' command. So is this truly the end of these American auto giants, or are we witnessing the birth of something new? The road ahead is fraught with obstacles, and not everyone will make it to the finish line. Even the legendary Ram 1500 faces extinction. But before we get into the details, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. How did we get here? The situation at Stellantis has reached a critical juncture, and the reality is that the stakes could not be any higher. The company is engulfed in a whirlwind of significant layoffs, with the roots of this turmoil deeply embedded in a sharp decline in vehicle sales. This dramatic drop in sales coincides with a strategic shift towards electric vehicle production, plunging the workforce into a thick cloud of uncertainty that feels almost surreal. It's a palpable tension that hangs in the air, so thick you could practically slice it with a knife. In earlier discussions, there were hints about plans to lay off as many as 2,450 factory workers at the Warren Truck assembly plant, driven primarily by the winding down of the Ram 1500 classic production line. At that juncture, the situation already felt precarious, but no one truly anticipated how rapidly it would escalate. Fast forward to July 2024, when Stellantis shocked everyone by announcing temporary layoffs impacting over 4,000 workers at that very assembly plant. Yes, you heard that right, over 4,000 employees suddenly found themselves caught in the eye of this employment storm. It is downright staggering to consider. If we dive deeper into the specifics, approximately 1,600 workers faced immediate job loss due to the elimination of the second shift. This brings us to the question, what on earth triggered such drastic measures? The answer is nothing short of shocking, a whopping 21% drop in vehicle sales compared to the previous year. This significant downturn sent shockwaves throughout the company, compelling them to curtail production. The ripple effects resonate through the workforce, resembling a chain of dominoes that slowly topple one after another. Many employees might prefer to look away, unwilling to confront the harsh reality unfolding before them. But there is more to the story. Just a short drive away, the Toledo Assembly Complex is experiencing its own wave of layoffs, especially impacting workers dedicated to crafting the iconic Jeep Gladiator. Roughly half of the 5,000 employees at this complex have been caught up in this turmoil. This abrupt change leaves countless workers hanging in anxious limbo as ominous production halts loom, lasting an expected 2 weeks. Picture this. You walk into work one day, only to learn that half your team has been let go without any warning. It is a truly terrifying reality. This troubling trend didn't just happen overnight. Earlier this year, Stellantis was already facing dire circumstances. They had previously laid off 2,453 employees, not just full-timers but supplemental staff, across the Detroit Assembly Complex MAC. The company didn't stop there. Back in March, they also made perplexing cuts of 400 engineering and tech workers and implemented layoffs of temporary part-time staff at various locations. This unfolding situation resembles a chaotic chain reaction, one unsettling event feeding into another, amplifying the uncertainty that envelops the entire workforce. The unfolding drama raises several pressing questions. How will the remaining employees cope with the mounting pressure? What adjustments must the company make to stabilize its standing? The stakes are extraordinarily high, and each critical decision carries significant implications that resonate throughout the workforce. Workers are now left pondering their futures amid swirling uncertainties. As each twist in this ongoing saga occurs, it keeps us guessing about what the next chapter entails, emphasizing how quickly fortunes can shift in today's tumultuous economic landscape. Here we are, caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty that is not just affecting individual livelihoods, but also shaking the very foundation of the company. How will Stellantis navigate these turbulent economic waters? What does this mean for the future of the workforce who relies on these jobs? Let's break this down. What's the impact? When significant job cuts hit the news, your first thought might be, wow, that's sad for those workers. However, let's press pause for a bit. There is a whole world of complexity lurking beneath the surface. Those pink slips aren't just markers of individual job losses. They're like dropping stones into a still pond. Can you see the waves spreading out? Those ripples touch countless lives in the community. This story transcends individual employees losing their jobs. It's a stark reminder of how entire communities start to unravel when jobs fade away. When factory workers find themselves suddenly unemployed, their ability to spend plunges. This isn't just a personal crisis, it has significant, far-reaching consequences. Local businesses, which once thrived thanks to the loyal spending of these workers, will inevitably start feeling the heat. Think about those adorable mom-and-pop shops you drive by on your way to work. When devoted customers can no longer afford to treat themselves to a nice dinner or even a simple shopping trip, those lively businesses, the very heartbeat of the community, begin to dim and struggle. This situation illustrates what is often called the multiplier effect, highlighting the intricate interdependencies that weave through our local economies. Retailers, cozy cafes, and even your favorite hair salons all are bracing for a rude awakening, facing a drop in customers and dwindling sales. But hold on, the fallout doesn't end there. As businesses wrestle with decreasing revenues, they may find themselves forced to let go of employees. It is like being buried under an avalanche of job losses, threatening to crush the entire town under its economic weight. When unemployment rates soar, essential community resources like food banks and social services find themselves overwhelmed. Families that once depended on stable paychecks now cling to support systems that stand on shaky ground, adding stress and anxiety to an already tense atmosphere. This situation becomes much more than just numbers on a page. Real families are grappling with uncertainty, their futures precariously hanging in the balance. The feelings of betrayal and uncertainty that surface in such situations can be downright unsettling. Meanwhile, local leaders aren't sitting back and just watching the crisis unfold. They are actively taking action. These leaders gather to rally for the displaced workers, raising their voices to articulate the urgent needs of those affected in a climate thick with anxiety. Now, let's bring Carlos Tavares into the spotlight. He is the talking point lately for announcing his intention to drastically cut costs by an astounding 30%. Primarily through job layoffs and an intense focus on improving efficiency. Is it any wonder that this declaration has sent chills through the spine of employees who are now left to grapple with the unsettling implications for their job security? As rumors swirl around the company's commitment to its workforce during this shift toward electric vehicles, the future feels clouded with ambiguity. Questions linger in the air like a fog. What can we expect next for those caught up in this corporate strategy? So, can we really lay blame on the union for feeling riled up? This situation isn't simply about a few jobs being lost. It is a test of resilience for the entire community. As the repercussions from the layoffs stretch well beyond the immediate loss of jobs, the journey to recovery transforms into a collective endeavor, asking for everyone's involvement. How do we heal and come together? How do we help one another in these challenging times? These are not mere rhetorical questions. They resonate loudly, and their answers will shape the community's path for years ahead. So what is the union going to do? When we think of unions, we often see them as powerful forces. But let's be real, the situation at Stellantis is a tangled skein of challenges that desperately needs unraveling. Inside the union, tensions are bubbling up like a pot that has been on the stove a tad too long. The meetings behind closed doors, picture them as chaotic, not calm at all. Discontent looms large, echoing through the corridors where critical decisions affecting lives are being made. Employees are starting to scrutinize their union leaders through a skeptical lens. Many begin to wonder whether these leaders genuinely care about protecting their interests. It is similar to being part of a sports team with a coach making questionable calls. You can't help but start doubting the game plan. Rumors circulate that some union leaders are failing to support their members adequately, sparking a wave of disillusionment among the ranks. This rising tide of discontent has ignited a strong call for significant changes at the top. An increasing number of United Auto Workers members are hurling phrases like sellout bureaucrats at their leaders, accusing them of ignoring essential issues, particularly job security. The sentiment is contagious, rapidly gaining traction, convincing many that new leadership might be the way to go. Their message is crystal clear. They want a leader who doesn't just sit back comfortably, but someone genuinely ready to fight for the rights of workers with everything they've got. Enter Shawn Fain, the union president, a bold figure who seems unafraid to stir things up. When it comes to the recent layoffs at Stellantis, he doesn't hold back in the slightest. His position, it is as bold as they come. He labels these layoffs as absolutely disgraceful. He is calling on union members to rally together and confront what many perceive as an injustice. You can almost feel the energy in the air as he galvanizes his fellow workers, urging them to fight like hell. But Fain's speeches encompass more than mere rhetoric. They transform into a potent rallying call for every worker involved in the union. He presses on the significance of solidarity, compelling everyone to unify and show their collective strength. The word is out. This is not a time for retreat or hesitation. This struggle transcends simply trying to save jobs. It is about protecting the fundamental rights and futures of the very workers themselves. The stakes couldn't be higher, and Fain's leadership could play a crucial role in this ongoing fight. Despite the looming uncertainty, hope begins to flicker, a belief that standing together can lead to a brighter tomorrow. So, what will it take to motivate those who are hesitant to join in the struggle? As the narrative unfolds, one crucial question remains. Will they rise together to meet this challenge, or will they slip into complacency and inaction? Only the passage of time will unveil the answers, but rest assured, this battle is just beginning, and the intensity is set to rise. So let's dive even deeper. What do the workers want exactly? At the top of their list is a demand that should be a no-brainer: job security. The union is not merely asking for a friendly acknowledgement or a few reassuring words while Stellantis wades through challenging waters. No, they're stepping up, demanding that the company prioritize job retention above all else, especially before any hefty bonuses get handed out to top executives. What is their message? Clear and straightforward. If Stellantis genuinely appreciates its employees, the very backbone that supports its success, then investing in them must be the top priority. This isn't just about keeping everyone on the payroll. It is about building careers that are sustainable and capable of supporting families while uplifting the entire community. Can you imagine it? These jobs should empower people, equipping them with the stability they need to thrive and succeed. Additionally, the union is stirred up over the crucial need to revive benefits that have regrettably slipped through the cracks. And let's lay it out clearly. This isn't about trivial perks like a fancy coffee machine for the break room. No, we're talking about essential benefits that have a profound impact on workers' lives, giving them a sense of value and security in their roles. This isn't just a push for a privileged few. The union advocates for improved pay and working conditions for everyone, especially for the new hires who often find themselves starting with salaries far below what they truly deserve. Then there's the firm demand for accountability concerning executive compensation. The stark disparity is impossible to overlook. While thousands of committed workers struggle through layoffs and uncertainty, Stellantis executives indulge in substantial pay increases, a staggering 56% increase to be precise. The United Auto Workers Union is certainly not one to sit idly back and allow corporate injustice to go unchallenged. They are shining a light on this unfairness, boldly calling it out with unwavering determination. The union's stance is undeniably clear and firm. They are prepared to file formal grievances if their demands, particularly regarding the reopening of the Belvedere factory in Illinois and honoring previously made commitments, aren't swiftly addressed. They're ready for action. And believe me, this isn't merely for show. They are gearing up for a well-planned strike against Stellantis. And when I say we're not just looking at a few employees stepping away from their desks, I truly mean we're talking talking about a massive walkout that has the potential to halt production and operations entirely across all Stellantis facilities. Let's take a closer look at the unsettling reality currently facing Ram, a giant in the automotive industry. It is crucial to grasp that this isn't just a small hiccup, rather what we're witnessing is a monumental upheaval that implies significant trouble on the horizon. Over the past few months, Ram has been struggling with an alarming drop in sales figures that simply cannot be overlooked. These numbers carry weight beyond mere statistics. They actually represent real lives, families impacted, and futures that sit precariously in the balance. If we dive into the sales data for the first half of 2024, a more shocking situation unfolds. A staggering decline of 19.5%. To put that into perspective, that dramatic shift equates to almost 45,500 fewer vehicles making their way onto the roads compared to the same period last year. This kind of significant decline isn't just a trivial bump in the road, it raises serious questions about the direction in which Ram is heading. And I know I am not the only one thinking this. Is Jeep dying? Now, let's not fool ourselves. It's not merely Ram that is feeling the pressure. The entire Stellantis portfolio is facing difficulties, with each brand struggling under the burdens of falling sales. For instance, Jeep has also been experiencing some painful declines, with a decrease of 19% in sales when we compare it to the data from last year. As we take a closer look at the performance of individual models, the scenario becomes even more concerning. The Wrangler, which has long been hailed as a beloved favorite among fans, has seen a notable decrease of 17%. Meanwhile, the Gladiator is battling its own set of challenges, suffering an even steeper drop of 24%. And to pile on even more bad news, the Grand Cherokee has faced an eye-watering decline of 26%. These statistics paint a troubling picture, and we're just scratching the surface of this alarming narrative. The bad news doesn't stop there. Shifting our focus to Chrysler, we discover that this brand is encountering a similar plight, marked by a year-over-year sales decline of 19% in the second quarter of 2024 alone. Even the family-friendly Pacifica minivan, usually a consumer favorite, is struggling in this challenging environment with its sales down by 16%, culminating in just 37,786 units sold. The news worsens dramatically for the Chrysler 300 sedan, which has suffered a shocking nosedive of 53%, wrapping up the quarter with a mere 1,998 sales. Now, if we turn our attention to Dodge, it is evident that this brand isn't managing to escape the turmoil either. It has experienced a sales dip of 17% within the same time frame. The Challenger, well known for having a dedicated fan base, has also taken a step back, registering an 11% decrease with a total of 11,480 units sold. The Charger has been hit even harder, suffering a staggering decline of 34% and landing at 16,216 units sold. This downward trend starts to make sense, considering that the current generation of the Charger is winding down production, leaving many potential buyers unsure about what the future holds for this iconic vehicle. The Durango is also down by 9% with 17,792 units sold. Surprisingly, the only model that still seems to be gaining traction is the Hornet, but even that is modest, with just 4,299 units sold. This raises legitimate questions and skepticism about its long-term viability moving forward. Now we need to ask ourselves, can they still turn this situation around? More importantly, how quickly will they adapt, innovate, and regain the loyalty of consumers? The clock is ticking, and as these challenges continue to mount, a storm of interrogatives hangs heavily over the future of Ram. What strategies will they implement to regain their hard-earned position in what is an intensely competitive truck market? So what exactly is their approach moving forward? Interestingly enough, instead of bringing back their legendary truck offerings, they have decided to unveil a limited edition model. This decision isn't simply a nostalgic nod to the past. It signals that Stellantis is attempting to pivot in a new direction. The introduction of this limited run pickup marks the ending of a significant era for a high-performance icon that once commanded respect on the roads. A Band-Aid plan. Now we come to the announcement of a national final edition of the Ram truck, a decision that feels long overdue given the brand's recent circumstances. Competitors like Chevy have been speeding ahead, leaving Ram trailing in their dust. To put it bluntly, Chevy's sales figures now outstrip Ram by almost 100,000 units. Yes, you heard that correctly. This enormous gap cannot be ignored. These numbers starkly highlight Ram's current struggles and underscore the urgent need for the company company to reevaluate their strategies. According to Stellantis, this limited edition model isn't merely another truck. It is described as a coveted gem with only 4,000 units scheduled for production worldwide. Out of that exclusive batch, just 340 units will be available in the Middle East, and only 130 will be designated for the Australian market. Each special edition comes with a starting price of $249,950, not including other on-road costs and expenses. Stellantis is heavily investing in the strong reputation of the Ram brand to promote these high-priced models. The truck showcases striking satin titanium bead lock wheels alongside distinct TRX badging, blending rugged durability with refined style. We cannot overlook the satin titanium TRX badge that decorates the passenger side dashboard, a sophisticated detail that enhances the vehicle's appeal. Beneath the hood lies a supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi V8 engine, producing an astonishing 702 horsepower and a massive 650 pound-feet of torque. Just imagine the power behind the wheel, launching from 0 to 60 miles per hour in a mere 4.5 seconds. This truck can achieve a top speed of 118 miles per hour. In essence, the 2024 Ram 1500 TRX Final Edition is not just another truck, it stands as a venerated icon, supercharged to perfection and tagged with a price reflecting its extraordinary capabilities. However, the pricing dilemma is significant. Starting prices for models like the 2025 Ram 1500 are currently around $70,000. For many potential buyers, particularly from the working class, these price tags are unreachable, pushing them out of the market. As the cost of living continues to soar, it becomes increasingly difficult for everyday consumers. Justifying the purchase of a vehicle at steep price points has become a dream. Financial experts recommend that car loans should not exceed 10 to 15% of a person's monthly income. To comfortably afford an $80,000 Ram, a buyer would need an annual income of around $150,000, which is often daunting for average consumers. In addition to the high costs, many shoppers are wary of the steep depreciation that new Ram trucks typically experience. It is estimated that a brand new Ram could lose between 15 and 20% of its value the moment it leaves the dealership. This rapid decline in value raises concerns for buyers about long-term investments in their vehicles. Furthermore, reliability issues have also plagued the Ram 1500 series. A particularly notorious problem is the Hemi lifter tick, which can lead to serious complications if left unresolved. This issue can escalate to worn camshafts and substantial engine damage, all of which create further challenges for Ram in an increasingly competitive market. With these financial and reliability concerns, Ram must navigate a tricky landscape if it hopes to regain favor with consumers. Potential buyers need reassurance that they are making sound investments, which may require Ram to address pricing strategies, tackle depreciation issues, and resolve reliability problems effectively. Without proactive measures, the brand risks losing a significant portion of its market share as consumers turn to alternative options that provide better value and reliability. What are your thoughts on this? Let's know in the comments. And if you are interested in this topic, we have already made a video on how Dodge, another company under Stellantis, is struggling. So thanks for watching, and I will see you there.